Welcome to the Adapt and Thrive book series. In this series, we pull out some of the most practical lessons from incredible books. Today, we're jumping right into the Day 2 afternoon exercise from the book Risk Management in an AI World. Trust me, this is all about getting you ready for that moment when your shiny new AI, well, goes a little haywire. Let's dive in. So let's just imagine for a second, your company rolls out this amazing, game-changing AI tool. Everyone's excited, but then it all goes sideways. The system starts showing some really unexpected bias, the media gets a hold of it, and bam, you're staring down a full-blown PR nightmare. So what do? What's your very first move? Who's even in charge here? If you're drawing a blank, hey, you're not alone. And that's exactly the problem we're going to solve today. You see, for so many companies, the real issue is just a simple failure to plan ahead. When you don't have a game plan, the second an AI system hiccups, it's just total chaos. People are scrambling, nobody knows who to talk to, and your company's reputation, which you worked so hard to build, starts taking major hits. This isn't just some tech glitch, it's a breakdown in governance, and it's something you have to get ahead of. And that brings us to the solution, what's called an AI governance framework. Now, don't let the fancy name fool you. Just think of it as your crisis playbook, one that you write before there's ever a fire. It's really just a clear, systematic way to direct, manage, and keep an eye on everything you're doing with AI. This is what turns that moment of panic into a calm, coordinated response. So how do you actually build one of these things? Well, what's so great about the workshop in the book is that teams have to design their own framework right then and there from scratch. So let's do a quick version of that right now and walk through the absolute essential building blocks. This is where the theory becomes practice. A really solid framework is built on three main pillars. First, you've got to define who's in charge of what, super clear roles and responsibilities. Second, you need to establish the rules of the road, your policies and procedures. And third, you have to detail your escalation protocols. In other words, who calls who and when if things go wrong. Okay, let's break down that first pillar, defining roles. This is so much more than just a list of jobs. This is about building your crisis response team before you ever need them. You'll want someone like an AI ethics officer who's always thinking about fairness. You need a chief risk officer looking at the big picture. And of course, your legal counsel to make sure you're staying on the right side of the law. When everyone knows their lane, confusion just vanishes. Next up, policies. You can think of these as your guardrails. They're all about prevention. How does an AI project even get a green light to begin with? What are your absolute non-negotiables when it comes to data and being transparent? And this is a big one. How often are you proactively checking your systems for bias? These aren't just boring documents. They're what keep you on track. And finally, escalation protocols. Honestly, when things hit the fan, this might be the most critical piece of the puzzle. Your framework has to spell out, with zero ambiguity, how someone reports a problem, who gets that first critical phone call, and maybe most importantly, who has the final authority to make the tough decisions. This clarity is what makes the difference between a fast response and a chaotic one. So there you have it, the three pillars of a solid framework. And hey, if you're finding this breakdown useful and want to see more practical lessons like this, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe. It honestly helps us out a ton and lets us keep bringing you this kind of content. Okay, so you've designed your framework, it looks great on paper, but the real question is, will it actually hold up under pressure? This is where the next part of the exercise comes in, the crisis simulation. It's time to put the theory to the test and see how that shiny new framework performs when things get real. And the simulation doesn't pull any punches. Imagine this message suddenly popping up on your screen. It's designed to be sudden, it's designed to be high stakes. A major flaw has been found and the media is already calling. This is that make or break moment where a good governance framework proves its worth. Do you stick to the plan or does it all fall apart? The difference in what happens next is just, it's night and day. Without a framework, what do? You get chaos and confusion. The response is slow, and you almost guarantee damage to your reputation. But with that framework in place, you get order, you get clarity. Your team can take decisive action because they already know their roles and what to do. And by handling it well, you can actually maintain or maybe even build trust. So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways here. First, that AI governance framework, it's your must-have crisis playbook. Second, planning ahead is what separates a calm, fast response from a flat-out panic. And finally, remember those three pillars: clear roles, clear policies, and clear protocols. They are the absolute foundation for managing risk in this new world of AI. And remember, this whole exercise we just walked through, this is just one single practical lesson pulled directly from the book Risk Management in an AI World. It's a perfect example of how the book takes these big, abstract ideas and turns them into skills you can actually use. We're actually going to be digging into more lessons from this book and others in our Adapt and Thrive series, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.